Let's get this over with. Welcome to Extras and Epilogues. James Bond January. The public execution of Shannon Young's dreams.
This isn't GoldenEye.
I wanted to twist
This isn't Phantom of the Opera.
We liked GoldenEye. We all gave thumbs up to GoldenEye. I gave a thumb up to Phantom of the Opera.
I know. That's what I'm saying. This is. I should have said this isn't Gremlins. This isn't Golden. This is almost Heroes.
You know the strange thing. A strange thing happened on the way to church today. I think I realized that. I think I like the Bond series more than I like Gremlins now because we've watched so much Bond. Even when I don't like the Bond movies, I'm still like, well, that was James Bond. It's good to check in with him every so often. You know?
Yeah.
There's only two Gremlins.
I mean, there's
movies.
only two Gremlins. Right, only two Gremlins.
For now.
That's not a fair
There's
comparison.
25 Bonds, exactly.
6, isn't it? Isn't it 26?
They might miscount.
Maybe it's 25 and then never say never again. That might be it.
Yeah, because this is Bond's.
Craig did 5.
This is
Brosnan did 4.
Yeah, this is Brosnan's. This is the 20th movie, which
and then Craig did 5.
Which is a great trivia. I'll tell you. Before we even start the movie, in this film, Q says he believes the watch he gives Bond for the assignment is his 20th, a reference to the fact that this was the 20th film of the Bond franchise. And you know what that means? It means we're reviewing another Bond film tonight. Welcome to Extras and Epilogues. The theater is open. My name is Shannon Young. I swore off drinking, but here we drink. I had a rough day. Let's have some fun. Tonight, we're reviewing Die Another Day. That ain't good. Let me introduce the cast to shoot what was left of my favorite Bond. First up is Double H.
Oh, fuck! I didn't do the thing. Much like this movie forgot to do a bunch of things.
No, this movie did everything.
Since I
poorly.
Well, it did too many things and then it forgot to do anything else. I'll just throw with I think I broke her heart.
Okay. All right. Let me introduce Cody real quick, and then I've got some things to say. So, joining us once again, thank God he's here, wearing the fix hat, wearing the throwback. It is Double O Dusky.
I'm Mr. Kill.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that because I got some thoughts. We're talking about Die Another Day.
It was either that or what Jinx says at the end after she kills, spoiler alert, Frost. I can't remember the first two words. I just know it ends with a very emphatic, visceral bitch. And that felt inappropriate to not have the preceding lines. So
I think she says, read this. Yeah, because
read this. She says
the Sun Tzu's The Art of War into her. Yeah. Do you get it? Do you get the metaphor?
Because she says, I can read all your moves. Which, that worked out for Kano in the first Mortal Kombat, too. I know all your moves, baby. And then she snaps his neck. So great there. I have some thoughts on this film I'd like to talk about really quick before we talk about the film.
Sure.
Everyone knows that Pierce Brosnan is my favorite James Bond, and he still is. This movie didn't take that away from me. In fact, I thought to myself, and maybe you guys thought similar, he deserves so much better than this. He deserves so much better than this film. Cody's disagreeing. You don't like Pierce Brosnan's Bond?
No, I very much enjoy Pierce Brosnan's Bond, but I don't think Pierce Brosnan could have gotten better in 2002. Plus, I think there's even moments in this film where it feels like much like Craig in the last couple of films. He's kind of ready to move on.
To me, it felt more like Moore. It felt like kind of Roger Moore in A View to a Kill. That's what it felt like. It's not as bad as A View to a Kill because it still has the modern things that we appreciate more and like more. Well, except for graphics, because some of the special effects in this movie are borderline insulting.
They are.
I need people to understand, because you're going to announce this here in just a minute, the exact release date. By the time this movie was out, 2 of the 3 Star Wars prequels existed. Now, they're not always perfect when it comes to special effects either, don't get me wrong. But George Lucas specifically said numerous times that he waited to make episodes 1, 2, and 3 until Hollywood special effects caught up to a point that he could realize what he wanted. Well, and yet this movie...
well, also, before strangely enough, before this movie even was a movie called GoldenEye, which had, it didn't always have great special effects either, but there was never a moment in GoldenEye, except for maybe some of the CG, satellite effects that I went, oh, come on, man. This movie, though...
Well,
this movie...
Here's the difference. GoldenEye comes out, if I recall correctly, in 1995. CGI special effects were still kind of in their infancy, and most people weren't even really trying to do very much with that. Jurassic Park had set the benchmark, and so most people kind of stayed away. By 2002, everyone is doing CGI special effects. They're easier to get, and they look good enough. The same way that you do, a big screen behind you in the older Bond movies where somebody's skiing and you can clearly see it's just a video.
But that's the problem.
That thing.
But that's my problem, is that this Bond, compared to GoldenEye, which also had special effects, but a lot of it looked really great, by this point, and I feel like this happens to every Bond now that we've watched so many of them, is that every Bond movie feels like it has to one-up the last one to the point that it becomes so goddamn ridiculous that it loses any sense of, I don't know, world building or dread or coherence. It's just like they're trying to one up the graphics and the adventure, I guess, and they forget to write in the plot or characters you like or witty dialogue, which brings me to the main thing I wanted to mention before we started the show, because if I forget it, I don't want this to be a thing that I forget to talk about, so I want to say it now, because I'm going to drink this whole goddamn bottle. I had a rough day. Why is this movie so goddamn quippy? I get there's quips in Bond movies, but every other fucking line was a fuck, and they're not funny. It's not like they're clever. You don't hear it and go, oh, he got her. No, it's so bad. Everything. The part where he's talking to Halle Berry and Rosamund Pike, and she's like, oh, I got the thrust of it, and they're making jokes about Bond fucking them. I was like, it's not clever. It's not cute. It's just embarrassing. My review for this film went through 3 different levels watching it. It started, I'm not going to tell you where it ended up because I wanted to leave some surprise. It started at 1 up because I knew I was never going to give it 2. I liked the beginning of the film with Bond in North Korea and being in prison and MI6 burning him and stuff. That's good stuff. That was all good. And then it went to 1 up, 1 down once we met Jinx. And then it went to 1 down with everything that came after Jinx. Now, I'll keep you guessing about where it ends. But I was so irritated by this Bond more than maybe any other Bond. And that's probably because I set a high bar for myself because I love Brosnan. Buddy, strap in.
That was where you went wrong. You did the right thing, and that's where you went wrong.
Strap in. Here we go. Let's do it proper. Released November 22nd, 2002. I actually did see this in theater, and I liked it in theater, but that's because I was a stupid fucking moron with a big butt, and my butt smells, and sometimes I like to kiss my own butt. And so...
You can see the stink
you got the stink lines and everything.
Directed by Lee Tamahori, who also did Once Were Warriors? Is it We Were Once Warriors? Or is it really Once Were Warriors? I'd heard of that.
It's called Once Were Warriors.
The Edge. Is that the one with Alec Baldwin and Anthony Hopkins?
No, that's the guitarist for U2. Okay.
I hate you. I hate you. It's funnier than anything they said in this movie.
He was just waiting for you to point out that Elle McPherson is also in that movie.
And I felt the thrust. And Along Came a Spider, which was apparently a good movie, I guess.
Oh, that's a 90s Samuel L. Jackson? Or
Sam Jackson and Ashley Judd, if I remember correctly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, and this is who I needed to find out whose ass I need to beat. Written by Neil Purvis and Robert Wade, who also did How. They also did The World Is Not Enough, Casino Royale, and Skyfall. How do you do 2 of the best Bond films and one of the worst? I haven't seen The World Is Not Enough in so long I can't comment, but you do one of the worst Bond films and Die Another Day. Were they on meth and then they got clean?
I think this might be the first one that they wrote.
Well, they did World's Not Enough. That's quick. A Brosnan.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
No,
yep.
2 before, because it's GoldenEye, World Is Not Enough, Tomorrow Never Dies, this one.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to look and see, because they work as a writing team. They exclusively work as a writing team. They wrote 7 Bond films. From the World Is Not Enough was their first one, and they wrote No Time to Die as well.
Old habits die hard, I guess.
I think it's all of them then from that time. Yeah, The World's Not Enough, Die Another Day, and then it's every Craig film.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of let me make sure I get, there's two guys that sound incredibly alike, and I want to make sure I get their name right. It reminds me of David S. Goyer. David S. Goyer wrote, or at least had a part in like the Dark Knight, Blade, but he also did that terrible movie with Odette Yusman where she's in her underwear in front of the mirror, and it's the Dybbuk. So very, very clearly, you can have good and bad. The world is not a black and white; it's an oyster of gray. So there's something to be said there.
I mean, I don't eat oysters, but sure, I'll take your word for it.
Starring, and it's not Bond that drove me to the bottle, but he didn't help. Starring Pierce Brosnan, who is good in this movie with what they give him, but he was 49 when they made this film. And I'm not saying 49 is old. It's not old. I really don't believe that's old. That's not just because I'm 43 or 44. I forget at this point. He just, seeing him, especially with Rosamund Pike, who was like in her 20s. Oh, those old Bond chestnuts. Let's bring them back, baby.
Yep. And you know what's such a shame is that early in this movie they do such a great like false take on that kind of thing. Yes. That whole masseuse bit in the hotel,
that was great.
I did not remember any of that. So when it started, I went, "Oh, come the fuck on!"
Same.
And when it turns and he breaks the mirror, I was like, "Yes." Everything about the rest of that scene, them just breaking down the like, what, do you think I'm fucking stupid? I know you've been Chinese intelligence this entire time. Get her the fuck out here, unless she's going to give me an actual massage, and get out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
Great.
That's so
much fun.
Up until he meets Jinx, it would have been one thumb up for me, because it's Brosnan with the long hair and the beard, like because he's been tortured for 14 months, looked cool. And then him shaving it and going back, I was like, this is cool. Being burned by MI6, oh, I love this. And then he meets Jinx, and they bang, and we're back to Bondville.
And once again, look, here's where I'm gonna rail on some stuff. And once again, Halle Berry ruins another fucking movie.
Oh my God,
what
she's
the
terrible.
Fuck is people's obsessions with Halle Berry? So, I don't get it. Can I
speak on this just for a second? I never liked Halle Berry. Then I saw Monsters Ball, and I was like, okay, she is a good actress. She's a good dramatic actress. She is. But and I've seen interviews with her. She's endlessly funny and charming. So why is it when they turn the cameras on in some movies that go act, she just freezes and stands there and looks pretty and then just sucks? She sucked.
I mean, when she was walking down the boardwalk in that swimsuit, I literally said, "What is the appeal?" And Sarah goes, "That."
Yeah.
Right? She just pointed at the screen and goes, "That." And I was like, "Yeah, but there are so many other women who are they've got to be equally as attractive, if not more so, to a great many people, and are significantly more talented actors, even in 2002."
I can't wait for Sydney Sweeney to be the next Bond girl.
Oh, you shut your whore mouth.
No, Amazon's in control now. May as well be.
Out there, baby. Well, if she doesn't go to jail, did you hear what she did? This isn't the time, but I'll tell you anyway. So
I was about to say, is this a Thursday show moment?
She broke. Well, it's still movie related, so technically it counts. She, her and her team went to the Hollywood sign, and she defaced it by putting a string of bras on it. And I was like, oh, is she making a statement about something?
What?
No, she's promoting her new lingerie line. And she decided to go to the Hollywood sign, but they never got permission. And you have to get permission. So will any trouble happen? No. We'll talk about it on Thursday probably, or we won't. I don't give a shit. Pierce Brosnan is in this. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to point out, by the way, you mentioned Halle Berry in Monsters Ball. She won an Academy Award for Best Actress the year before this movie came out.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing, the rubber band. Because you have, in this whole time frame, you have Monsters Ball, this, Swordfish, Gothica, and then the train wreck that is Catwoman. And you talk about movies
Oh my god!
And ping pong.
Go even a little further back. Her turn is Storm in the X-Men movies, and I get that she didn't write those movies. Don't get me wrong, but she's bad in those too.
I really think she sucks when it comes to big budget Hollywood films, and she does better in dramatic roles where she can actually act.
Yep.
I really believe that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like Cody said, it's a roller coaster. All of those things that he named, you go back to shit like Gothica, like Swordfish, like Monsters Ball. People loved those fucking movies. And then they went, oh, well, she's a big star. We got to put her in something. And she sucks in a Bond movie. She sucks as a superhero 2 different times. Like, what are we doing?
Technically 4 different times, but also yes.
And shit, yeah, you're right.
And especially because Rosamund Pike, I mean, doesn't get a lot in this movie, but she runs circles around her in terms of intrigue.
Oh my God. I'm glad you said it. Absolutely destroys her. She's got to be significantly younger than her in this movie,
She's in her early 20s, and Halle Berry's I'm pretty sure Halle Berry is in her 30s in this film. Let me look it up real quick.
Halle Berry is 34 when this movie comes out, so approximately 33 when it's being filmed. Let me look up Rosamund Pike, because I agree, she is younger if memory serves correct.
I think she's like 25 or 26, if I remember correctly.
Because here's the weirdest thing. I only remember Rosamund Pike from this movie and Gone Girl, and that's it. It was one of the few things I knew she was in this coming into it.
22.
22?
1979.
Wow.
22 years old.
Goldberg!
Extremely fucking talented. 22! Oh, no!
God, rest your soul.
Goldberg, you idiot!
Why? Why me?
Why me?
No fun.
Infinitely more fun than we're going to have reviewing the rest of this movie.
Oh, I disagree. We're going to have a lot of fun reviewing this film because people don't like it when we talk about movies we like. We just sit here and jerk each other off, thematically. But when it's movies what we hate, then it's more fun. I'm going to have fun.
The kids love Squalor.
They love Squalor.
The kids love Squalor.
Rosamund Pike is great in this. And not only is she great in this, her character is great to a point. I just made my own funny. I didn't mean to. So she plays an MI6 agent who, if you've never seen the movie before, you might be a little surprised to find out that, spoiler alert, she's the double agent. Because she makes such a big deal about not sleeping with Bond. Oh God, why would anyone fall for Bond? And then she does. And I remember going, because I didn't remember she was the turncoat. I was like, oh my God. So of course they're going to fuck. Why wouldn't they? But then it goes, okay, this one makes sense. She is tricking him. She is using the same moves that he uses against him. So I let that go. Yeah. I let that one go. He even tries to shoot her and there's no bullets because she took the bullets out of the gun when they were in bed together. So I'll give you that one.
Yes.
Occupation.
Hey, real quick. Because I've been looking into this and I didn't fully look it up or Google it or whatever. I might have missed it. I was paying a very close attention to this movie and I was kind of caught up in the term. Did they ever explain exactly why she was a double agent? Like what her grudge was with the British government?
No. Shannon, do you recall? Because I do recall. Nope. It is a throwaway line when they are in the American base when everything is happening in the climax.
Oh, maybe it's the same thing I'm going to complain about. Her history.
Yes, it's just a throwaway. It's literally just what that is, that she was on the Harvard fencing team with the antagonist. No. And that the NSA missed that, and that was literally the only thing we connect this with. It is the only tangible point.
Hear me the fuck out real quick.
I could have sworn, hang on, just real fast, I could have sworn that Moon, the main villain, I could have sworn he says something when she turns the gun from him to Bond about how she it's something to the effect of she does it for the same reason anyone else does, and there's some allusion to money. Basically, it was she's going to get paid.
Power
big
sex.
Time.
Yeah,
money, power, her sex.
So
okay, maybe that's what it was.
Let me ask a question. This is what bothered me the most in this movie of all the things that bothered me. So she works for MI6, right?
Correct.
She's an MI6 agent. MI6 puts her on Moon's trail. Or Gustav, I guess, because Moon's not involved. But Gustav.
Right, yeah.
But Mal.
You could be forgiven for thinking it was Gideon Graves because that's what I thought the entire movie because they do the exact same Scott Pilgrim bit. Double G's on the diamond. He's a major player. I kept going, this is Scott Pilgrim. We've done this before.
My question is thus. If she is watching Graves and Graves is an associate of Mao, how did they not? Because Mao was working for Graves because he was his second in command, basically. There's this intricate plot. Is it Yao? I thought it was Mao.
No, it's Zhao.
Zhao. Sorry, my apologies. Zhao.
Yeah.
So
I was very confused. It's like Mao's the dog doesn't show up in this movie. It's a different country.
I'm thinking of the guy, that one guy. That's all I'll say.
That one dude.
So how is it that MI6 never picked up on the fact that she literally went to school with the ultimate bad guy? Like, I get that he was quote unquote dead, but since he is involved with everything that's happening with that country, with all of this that's going on, MI6 never looked into her history and said, well, let's check our agents before we send them over there to do this. Like, I thought that was a glaring plot hole, considering how secretive MI6 is and how much they take, like, they take precautions. They didn't know that she was on the goddamn fencing team with, you know, the bad guy. That boggled my mind. Again, I know he's not him, but like the moment they heard, oh, Zhao was there, they should have went, okay, we got to look up everything because we are so good. And Judi Dench, by the way, once again, is so good as M. She's the best M they ever had. I mean, she's just so good. She's better than GoldenEye, but she's good in this.
I don't disagree.
But that just bothered me. I'm sorry.
She gets better as we move forward too, but that's for a different conversation.
I loved her. I loved her.
Get ready for tomorrow.
Oh, I know.
Star-making moment.
Well, for the Dame, yes.
Yeah.
They didn't have to kill Severin. Anyway, he could have saved her. Let's get back.
We can keep going with the cast.
No, let's get back to the cast because there's a lot of other people in this film that aren't in the main list but are very, very good.
I'm sorry. Cody said, are we going to keep going with the cast? And Shannon's response was, no, we're going to get back to the cast. And I can hear him going, good call. I wish I'd thought of it.
Yeah. Great idea. Let's see if it plays out. Colin Salmon is in this. He's fantastic. He's always fantastic. If you're at home going, wait, who's Colin Salmon? He's the black British guy. Important.
Yeah, you beat me to it. Yeah.
He was the one in the first Resident Evil film that the computer decided to just fuck with. And after he beat her twice, they sent the net out to kill him. And it's like, she could have done that the first time. I didn't know computers were so petty. Shit. Michael Madsen is in this movie. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was happy.
To light a fucking cigarette and just be like, oh, America.
Yeah.
I mean, he just exists as America incarnate. When they have him on the fucking video screen, I paused it and I said, well, in case you were wondering if he's American, there's the football trophy. There's the American flag, and of course the gun behind him.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't there be?
Yeah, he was not great in this film. Not that he had anything to work with, but
he was almost
barely in it.
Right.
Which is, yeah.
But because I love Michael Madsen, same thing with Colin Salmon. I love them both so much. I was like, oh, I was just happy they were in a Bond movie. You know, people were talking about Salmon being Bond for years, you know, before when he was still younger, and everybody was like, no way, they'll never make a black Bond. They might now, because there's a lot of great actors that could do it, but we'll see what happens.
Idris Elba was the odds-on favorite for years, but I think he's too old at this point. I don't think they would do it.
John Cleese is in this film. That's for Tanner. He's funny.
Sure.
For the first time. Though. He's not. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. That was the bit I was going to say when you talked about you didn't laugh throughout this movie. It is a hard task to make John Cleese overall not funny, and they fucking achieved it.
Well, he was funnier than everything else. But
but that's a bar buried in the earth, my guy. That's not an accomplishment. That's just him being him.
I just hate that he's just Desmond Llewellyn. I mean, he's just the same character. He's irritated with Bond. He's older, and it's like you're not breaking new ground with him at all. Like you're literally, it's beer fest.
Here's the other thing.
Just call him Q2. He's just like his cousin.
And they did. Here's the thing I didn't really love about that whole sequence. Number one. Not that they need to differentiate him from Desmond Llewellyn because they don't. He's supposed to be the same character. That's the whole point. It's not like the Bonds where they have to have their own sort of thing. Is he not? Is he not supposed to be the same guy?
Yeah.
He inherits the quartermaster position. That's why I said in this previous video,
because he's R in the other one. Okay.
He even says
training, and he inherits his spot.
He even says, "I learned from my predecessor to."
Right. You're right. So that makes that a little better, honestly, in my eyes. Here's what's frustrating. And the way in which he differentiates himself is that where Desmond Llewellyn's Q like playfully doesn't like Bond, like jokingly, make sure this guy fucking hates Bond.
Yeah, does not seem to care for him at all.
He doesn't like him at all.
No.
Like why is he helping him in any way? Why is he involved in this?
I think that's also just John Cleese. He probably wrote that
maybe.
He's like, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to be a dickhead because I'm good at that.
It's one of the few things though that I say positively about this film is I like their portrayal of Bond himself as the problem child of MI6 kind of, because he's always kind of been, Bond is different from the other agents. Well, how is he different from the other agents? And this one you kind of see with the way M talks to him, the way Q talks to him. He's very much that personality trait that I have myself, where if you're so good at your job, you can kind of get away with whatever you want. That's Bond. He's so good at being an agent that they basically kind of, put up with him. And I like that that's in this film. Yeah. But don't worry, kids. There's a lot of things I'm going to say that I didn't like in the film. Let me get to the rest of the stats real quick. Runtime of 100.
We're not even talking about my favorite cast member.
Who's that?
We got to talk about my favorite cast. It's the only piece of trivia I'm bringing to this. It is Toby Stevens, who plays Gustav Graves.
Yes.
The reason that is relevant is, one, he is the son of Dame Maggie Smith, so comes from great acting stock. Second of all, Toby Stevens has voiced James Bond in a number of BBC Radio 4 dramas of the books.
Really?
He has been James Bond in 6 or 7 books, including Casino Royale, Man with the Golden Gun. Yeah, it's really fun. Now, mind you, your mileage may vary with the books being what we have talked about them being.
Sure,
but
right.
They're mostly 90 minutes to 2 hours. I've got a lot of them saved on YouTube, and I play them periodically, kind of like as audiobooks in the background. And it's nice. It's nice to see the bad guy in this movie who, again, had nothing to work with.
He's got some pedigree.
He's got some pedigree. And he's able to play Bond, at least the book way.
He was also, as terrible as his character was, he was also probably the only interesting character in the movie, and the only one that looks like he was having fun with it.
Yeah.
I also think
he gets to have double, triple duty at this point. My God, he's all over the place. He has to be. He's the dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
His the sword fight between the two of them was to me probably the best part of the movie. It was very good. Other than the beginning, he's good, and that makes that whole thing at the end where he says, "I modeled this face basically after you." Considering he plays Bond later, that's pretty fun. That's fun. Runtime of 133 minutes. It is a little long. It's about 125 minutes longer than it needed to be.
And not if you watch it in time and a quarter or time and a half speed, because I told this to Hunter before we recorded.
What he did.
Oh,
I knew what I was getting into. I
couldn't do it
on time and a half.
Couldn't do it. Budget versus box office: 142 million versus 432 million. It still made money. No Bond film ever didn't make money. That's the thing. Critical reception. This surprises me. Not this part. 56% critical rating on Rotten Tomatoes. 6.1 out of 10. That's fair. 56 out of 100 on Metacritic. That's fair. Cinema score of A-. What's wrong with you people? What's wrong with you?
We just said it. The kid loves squalor.
Learn a book.
So importantly, this was learn a book. This was one of those times where, if I recall correctly, and I'd have to go look it up, this movie was up against some kind of weird competition in a way. So first of all, if I remember correctly, they did advertise it as the final Brosnan one. So they knew going into this was his last turn as Bond. I think that probably brought some people out. It was the Thanksgiving weekend when a lot of people were going to the movies, and it opened up. This is one of those times where it's kind of like the one we talked about previously in the 80s, where unfortunately, because I think it was License to Kill was the one that got killed at the box office because it had to deal with so many other incredible people going up against
Ghostbusters 2, it's How Many I Shrunk, etc.
Right. Yeah. This time it was going up against Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is going to be extremely popular across the board there. But at the same time, two different audiences, right? Like two different audiences are going to see that movie, and the Santa Claus 2, which is, again, I still haven't seen it. But the first one was popular enough that drew. Yeah, shit, I'm like a comedian, and people say like Tim Allen. Let's go.
By the way, Hunter, my wife is crying.
So yeah, I mean, I think it basically just had kind of an open spot at the box office where people knew what they were getting to a certain degree. It's the last Brosnan Bond, so that's kind of its own thing at this point. We're 4 Bonds deep. People know what it's like when somebody's going to leave the role and what's going to be the last big go around for them. And again, a different kind of audience. This is, if I remember correctly, the first Bourne movie, but not all of them are out at this point.
That's why I'm looking up as we speak, along with what's out. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, people have a hankering for this kind of like spy action thriller type film.
So
let's see.
I saw a Reddit post. It posted a picture of the end of every Bond film, and it said which Bond got the best ending. And it's okay. Hear me out before you say anything. So it's Connery with Unnamed Girl. I really don't know who it was. It's Roger Moore with, I think, Tawny Katane from View to a Kill. Was that who it was, Cody? The girl from That 70s Show, whatever her name was.
Yes, I was blanking on her name. You would ask me. I'm forgetting about it. Yeah.
It was Timothy Dalton with Carrie Lowell from Law and Order, obviously. It was Pierce Brosnan rolling around in bed with Halle Berry, and then was George Lazenby holding his dead wife and Daniel Craig about to die.
Oh my god!
Who got the best ending? I don't know. Not the one who holds his dead wife.
Also, real quick, sorry, just going back to the numbers here. Also, out of the box office the week that this came out. So, in its first week, Die Another Day was up against Chamber of Secrets, which again had actually been out for a week at that time. So, it claimed that spot from it. Friday After Next, which was brand new. I don't think many people were going to see that. The Santa Claus 2 had actually been out for a month at this time.
Yep.
So it was already pretty well tracked, and 8 Mile had been out for 3 weeks at that time. So as far as brand new stuff, it didn't have a ton of competition.
It didn't. But do you want to scroll down and see what some more of these movies are that came out at this time? If you want to talk about things that we had mentioned, things being on the mindset for people that are spy oriented, because as you mentioned, Bourne Identity came out that summer, June of 2002. You scroll down on this list, by the way. They've got Triple X, which, boy, this movie tries to be really paddly at times. And it's a week. You got Spy Kids 2 in week 17, so if you want something that may be a better spy movie than this, you can go watch the Spy Kids sequel, because at least Antonio Banderas is in there, I think.
Too sexy!
And all...
He's having a good time, but he must.
The Transporter is in here if you want that 2000s action style. It's in week 7. And also, something I wish I could have seen at the time. You want to talk about a weird double bill in terms of a release. Get out of here, Barbenheimer. It's Spider-Man and Men in Black 2.
Spider-Man in Black. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, why not?
Spider-Man and Men in Black.
Can't believe we didn't call it that at that time.
We should have done that.
Oh, shit. If it had been Spider-Man 3 and it was Spider-Man in Black,
Venom,
that would have been perfect, right?
Perfect, yeah. Absolutely. Here's where we differ from the greats. 3 out of 4 stars from Roger Ebert, who said the movie has the usual impossible stunts, but it has just as many scenes that are lean and tough enough to fit in any modern action movie. You know what? No, he's not wrong. He's not wrong in saying that.
Yes,
but
he is.
No. It does have this movie has a lot of scenes that would be in a modern action movie, but that doesn't mean the movie was good.
Okay, I will concede that point too. We just joked about
its time.
The 3 out of 4 is wrong, but everything he said about it in that statement is pretty true. Okay, let's get into the film. What is the movie about? Really quick.
We have to.
Bond, and again, I can't stress this enough. I mean this. I really like the opening with him pretending to be the Diamond Thief. You get to see him lead a team because he's a commander. He leads a team to infiltrate, to take over. You get the double agent who's betrayed him. He gets made. They end up torturing him, and then he is traded for a prisoner who, and it's kind of clever. I thought was that because this double agent was telling so many secrets, they assumed it was Bond spilling his guts, so they had to make the trade just to get him out because they thought he was spilling all of MI6's secrets. That's good. It's all good. Bond goes on the rampage. He disavows, MI6 burns him. He takes his own, path to get revenge. And up until this point, I swear to God, I'm having fun. It's a little quippier than I want, but the action is good. Brosnan is good. The setup is good. Then he gets to Jinx. And I swear to God, I don't know why. The moment Jinx steps in, this movie takes a nosedive from me. Go ahead, Cody.
I'm a chip in twice.
Yeah,
One, I'll start with the latter part. We haven't mentioned it. This movie has, you mentioned it with Q and the watch and the 20th watch, blah, blah, blah. There are a number of fan service moments in this movie. And it don't just mean Jinx being Jinx. Jinx stepping out of the water is wearing a modified bathing suit of what is in Dr. No. She has the machete on her hip. She is doing a lot of homages to that.
The jetpack.
Rewind. The jetpack, everything with Q. You see the jetpack.
The jetpack was awesome.
Knife.
The shoe.
Yes, that was awesome.
That was awesome. Knife from Russia with Love. It's all very cool in that moment. Rewind back, because I'm going to disagree with you in saying that this movie starts from the jump very good. One, surfing CGI is terrible. We can get to that with all the things moving forward.
Well, I forgot that. Thanks.
The momentum of Bond being tortured. Oh, don't worry. It happens twice. It happens to him later, and it happens at the beginning. More importantly, Bond being tortured is interesting until you smash cut to that fucking awful Die Another Day song.
Hold on.
And we spend 3.5 minutes
hold on.
to Madonna
it's
with
hold on.
Iron Ice Ladies with just brief interstitials of his face being smashed in the same fucking bucket of water, and there's scorpions here somehow. No. We don't get to forgive the sins that this movie made, goddammit. I didn't die on the cross for him. I'm not an idiot.
I want to say this about the Madonna song. It's terrible.
Awful. It's terrible. And so this fucking cameo. We left her out of the cast. And I should have said that also. Verity, as played by Madonna, is fucking terrible.
She was so inconsequential. I didn't even care, honestly. Like she was pointless to me.
She gets her corset laced up. She tells the boys that she doesn't like cockfights and leaves the scene. And she got so much money.
And it takes me completely out of it. The moment she shows up, I go,
"Oh, that's Madonna." Well, okay,
it's fucking Madonna.
I'm glad you said that because this is going to sound stupid. Because at the time, you couldn't have made this accusation. You literally couldn't because it didn't happen yet. But the moment Jinx is on top of the dome in her leather suit, I went, "Oh, that's just Catwoman. This is the precursor to Catwoman." But you couldn't make that charge at the time because it didn't exist. That's unfair. But I want to say, as much as the Madonna song sucks, it did not suck as bad as I thought it was going to. I don't like it. It's not for me. No, hear me out. It's not for me. It's not for me. Guys, please, I don't like it. But I think there are worse songs. I do. Because at that time period, this was popular. We can look at it in 2026 and go, that's terrible. But at that time, it was...
Hang on a second. No. What Madonna was doing at that time was realizing that she was culturally irrelevant for two reasons. Number one, Madonna looks at Cher and goes, "Shit, she made a huge comeback with a dance club that was Believe in 1999. So I've got to do that, right?" Because that was Madonna's thing. I'm going to reinvent myself. Number two, she looks at Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and goes, "Shit, now there are younger, better stars than me. I got to do something like that."
She kissed them.
I got to go kiss them.
She tried to have all things and she ended up with none of them. The best thing about this song is that it is purely indicative of the entry that Cody was talking about, that the whole opening sequence, because it too felt like I was being tortured for 14 months in a North Korean prison camp.
So
again,
awful.
I made the reference in the previous episode of James Bond January. This was the hand grenade pin we pulled as roommates in college when the other one needed to get up. You turn this up at full volume, you slide your phone underneath the door, and you really hope the baseball bat in my roommate's closet didn't break that phone. Yes, you also ran or went to work.
You say that, but the album that came out for Madonna during this time period was called Music, and it was released to broad acclaim. So we can shit on it, sure, and I also hated it, but that album got great reviews, and it was hot. So this kind of music was popular at the time. So of course you've got an
kind of music was.
Hear me out. You've got an aging Bond in Brosnan. It's his last film. He's 49 years old. You want to make it relevant, but at the same time, when you're the Broccoli's and these people who take care of the Bond franchise, it's like Vince McMahon. You don't know what is popular and what's good, so you kind of, you have a very weird take on things. So they put Madonna in it, and they give her the song because they think, well, Madonna is a name, and she's got this hot album out. This music is acclaimed. This is going to make the movie feel culturally relevant and modern, and it does. At the time. Now, don't get me wrong. It still sucked.
That album, I just looked it up. That album came out in September of 2000. That album is 2 years old at this point.
But that's still the most recent album she had done, and it's the same kind of music. And it's 2 years. I mean, come on, look, I know we hate the song, and I also hate the song, but let's try to be a little fair. It's not that they grabbed some unknown artist who hasn't been popular for 30 years and told them, hey, do a song for this movie, and everyone hated it. That's not the case.
Yeah, that's called Shirley Bassey. They did it 3 times, and you know what? I liked it all every single time more than I did this one.
For the record, I want to once again state for the listeners at home, I also don't like this song. And Madonna is not the hill I'm going to die on. Here's
what we're not talking about. It doesn't fit the movie.
No, nor does the intro video.
The movie or has anything to do with it.
Actually, Cody, help me out on this. I actually wanted to ask you this. Is this the first Bond film where the opening song had clips relevant to the actual story and not just random shit thrown in for looks? Because there are clips of Bond being tortured throughout the entire thing that is relevant to the story.
I would say, because it's just mostly the same things we saw right before the smash cut to the credits. I wouldn't say they're like adding information. Right. In terms of seeing like actual scenes from the movie, if it's not the first, it's one of the few. Most of them are just thematic or artistic rather than plot driven. But again, not as plot driven as it can be. It's just you're trying to delay for 4 minutes the fact the passage of time is occurring while your soul is leaving your body listening to Madonna. And I would also like to note, I've been talking a lot of shit about this song. Unlike some songs we've talked about in the James Bond canon, this one I don't skip as often as You Only Live Twice. So, fuck me, right?
No, like I said,
I'll be a hypocrite. It's fine.
When I heard the song today, I seriously went, I don't like this, but I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever heard. I don't even think it's the worst Bond song I've ever heard. But it's also
not of the ones we've reviewed so far. That's for sure. They would have been worse.
But in terms of is it Bond? No. It's so far removed from Bond that it's...
That's the sin it commits to me. It's not Bond.
So I wanted to be fair. I wanted to be fair to the song, but I also want to be fair to the idea that I hate that song. It's Madonna. I don't even like Madonna. I've got her sex book, but that's it. I don't actually have her sex book.
I was about to say, buddy, your library
for another time. I don't have her sex book. All right, let's talk about the film. Now that we got the song out of the way, let's talk about the film. I really did enjoy the intro. I really did think the intro was good. And once you get to Jinx and Halle Berry's horrible acting and everything that happens after that, it's like you take an interesting idea for Bond and then you just smash it into old Bond. If there's a circle on the wall that says Bond tropes, you started with a square, but they whittled that fucker down into a circle and made it fit in, because goddamn if this movie doesn't feel like it just runs off the rails very quickly. And then it is met with such horrible CGI, horrible dialogue, horrible action. Oh my God, the action in this film. Let's talk for a second about the action. Cody's, there's one of him, thank God, because if there's more than one, I couldn't handle the love.
This showed me off the rack.
You have a character like Zhao, who I thought was an interesting villain visually, with the diamond stuck in his face. Visually very interesting, and an upgrade from the villains they've had in the past that were just pointless. And then he gets jack shit to do. And then his final fight is a car chase through an ice palace. Mm-hmm. Why?
With the sun melting.
Why?
Okay, Hunter, I know you want to say something. I will let you go first.
Yeah, go ahead, guys.
I'm just going to be berating for about 60 seconds about the cancer-causing capabilities of the sun being aimed at fucking everybody in this film. So many people have skin cancer now.
But, Hunter, before you say anything, let me throw this at you, Cody. Tell me the last time you heard about a space laser that was related to diamonds. I dare you.
Uh-huh. If I had a dime for every time it happened in this franchise, I'd have 2 dimes, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it happened twice.
At least twice. I mean, Moonraker probably has one in there somewhere.
There's a diamond somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me start off with maybe the most controversial take of anything I'm going to say tonight. I actually really dug the dude with the diamonds in his face. I thought his look cool. Was very, very fucking cool. It's so stupid. Like, Sarah immediately goes, well, that's not how that works. Like, the body would reject those, they would fall out. It doesn't work like that. I'm like, right, but also a man doesn't have metal teeth. Like, I'm fully willing to accept it because it looks cool. Like, I don't give a shit if it actually works or if it is supposed to go that way. But
then you got Mr. Kill. Tell me you gave up on.
Certainly is.
Tell me you gave up on writing this fucking thing without telling me you gave up on writing it when your villain is named Mr. Kill. I'm surprised Halle Berry's name wasn't Open Gap.
Oh God. Well, to be fair, that was a pretty graphic fucking sex scene.
Yes, it was. Unnecessary. Unfucking necessary.
We both were like, oh, why is this still happening? Well, Jesus. So, if you're wondering why it was happening and why it was necessary, it's because, again, Monsters Ball exists, and so they had to do something. As far as the villains go, I like the intro with them. We've already talked about that a little bit. I actually really like that opening sequence. It's pretty fun. It's pretty wild. I like Zhao's look afterward. Speaking of things, my wife went, well, that's not how that works. She actually went upstairs to do something. I paused it when the genetic doctor was like explaining to Halle Berry's character how the shit works because he started talking and I went,
She needs to hear this.
And I backed it up about 30 seconds and I paused it. And she's like, why'd you pause it? I don't care. I was like, no. I need you to listen to this and to tell me how much bullshit it is. Like, I pretend I don't know shit about fuck when it comes to gene therapy and tell me how much any of this is accurate. She restrained herself until he finished talking and then she busted out laughing. It's the most I've heard her voice in days because she's been sick and she can't talk properly. She goes, well, that's not how any of that works. First of all, I don't know how you remove bone marrow completely without just, killing someone. That's not how you do that. Secondly, when you inject other bone marrow in it, it doesn't randomly make you into another person. No, it's also not how that works.
Why wasn't it just plastic surgery?
Just make it.
They've done that already.
And here's what blew my mind. When they started talking about the DNA replacement thing early on, what I thought they meant was we're going to replace your identity. Like, we're going to change your genetic markers in some way so that your finger, it's MIB, it's your fingerprints and your records. Right. And again, plastic surgery, we're going to change. And even then Sarah goes, yeah, but again, your cells all have copies of your DNA. They're constantly replenishing. In 7 years, none of what you just did is active anymore at all. That's about how long it takes to get through all of them. Also, just the whole concept is so ridiculous. And you know what? I was kind of on board for a lot of it. I was like, fine, fuck it. Because Toby Stevens is doing such a hell of a job pretending to be a North Korean and a British guy and a good guy.
He did a good job.
Also a bad guy and a playboy, but a villain. Yeah, I had a ton of fun with that guy in particular. But all of this is coming back around to the Ice Palace thing. As much as I agree with Shannon, as much as I agree that the moment that Halle Berry shows up, the movie starts taking a nosedive. It straight up crashes into the ocean the moment they get to the Ice Palace. The Ice Palace shit on is just insufferable. It's so stupid.
I have so many thoughts on all of these things. One, Gustav Graves could have been a classic Bond villain if they had spent more time exploring his new identity as a philanthropist and as someone, because they basically just go, oh, we found a bunch of diamonds. Now let's go to his Arctic, his ice command center, and then they fight him. You could have spent so much more of that film devoted to establishing him as a character, and it would have made him more interesting. That's why I want to watch, I think it's The World Is Not Enough. Cody, please help me on this. That has, I forget his name, but he's the newspaper guy who is basically trying to take over the world via the news. Jonathan Pryce.
I confuse every time too. That's Tomorrow Never Dies.
Tomorrow Never Dies. I need to rewatch that because in my head, from watching that film as a kid, I remember him being a fascinating character. But I always hear everybody shitting on it, so I kind of want to watch it and see if I was wrong. Gustav
for next year.
He could have been the same thing. He could have been a fascinating character, and he is good as he is. But man, you could have made him into an all-time classic if you had just tweaked some things to spend some more time with him. The Ice Palace itself is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
Real quick, do me a favor. Reach back behind your headphones and
is my hair crazy?
You got hair.
I'm so sorry.
There's one. Like if my finger is it's just doing this.
I'm sorry.
And I can't take it.
I'm so sorry.
It's so distracting.
I'll turn my video off.
Watching it go, where's it going?
Please.
No. Stay on, please. It's just very funny.
But
it had its own mind.
Well, it's eccentric. It's eccentric hair, like ostracized.
Motherfucker.
The Ice Palace, it really is where good movies go to die. Because the next thing I know, suddenly they're in a plane and there's a space laser. It's basically the Hammer of Dawn. And also,
yes, it is.
Also, Cody, he has a robot suit that shoots electricity. Why does he have a robot suit?
Smells electricity.
Why does he have a robot suit?
The robot shooting fucking stupid. So here's what bothered me.
I'm almost through this whole bottle.
From 2000.
When he put it on, I thought that something about it helped him control the laser, and I remember thinking, okay, how does this work?
Yeah,
and it did, but yeah, it's just a power glove, and I'm like, well, you could do that with anything. Why do you need a glove for that? And then he had the electricity thing, and look, I never once understood how the fucking electricity thing worked. First of all, he kills his dad with it in about 0.3 seconds, but he
shoots him.
Spawn with it. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
but he grips Bond and electrocutes him for
about 10 minutes.
It feels like 5 minutes.
It's about 10
and
minutes.
I'm like, this is not Return of the Jedi. This is not Star Wars. People die when you do that. And importantly, this does not owe someone's being electrocuted or being shocked. You can totally survive that, obviously. But we're seeing literal arcs of electricity on this person. He would have burns. He would have scars. He would almost definitely have gone into cardiac arrest, which, by the way, we didn't even point out he apparently can will himself to do.
Now, okay.
I was waiting on
Hold on. So there are teachings that can teach you how to lower your heart rate so much it appears that you're dead. That's true. No, that's true. So I didn't have a problem with that, with Bond doing that. I thought in this film, don't get me wrong, this film's stupid, but that was one of the least stupid things just because I've heard this in movies before. It was still dumb. And it's unnecessary. Like, who's writing this film? Who's writing this film going,
let's go.
How do we get Bond out of this fucking hospital room? Well, what if he silences his heartbeat and then wakes himself up suddenly? That's the best you can do.
If you're going to try to explain it with that justification, I turn it back at you and say, where would he have learned how to do that? And who would have taught him how to do it? The very fucking people that have him in that hospital and would subsequently know he knows how to do that? I
assume the North Koreans, there was an old ancient Chinese master. Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
We didn't see him. It was the other guy in the games with Tony Stark. He was just hidden somewhere in the background.
Craps. Also, conveniently, he jumps off the ship. He swims apparently half a fucking mile and comes right up in the exact same spot where he has a permanent residency in the presidential suite. There just happened to be nobody staying there.
Thankfully, also, there's no muscle atrophy from being held captive for 14 months. He's just as strong as he ever was. He's James Bond.
He's ripped, man. Yeah.
I loved seeing Bond with long hair, though.
Oh, dear God.
Pierce Brosnan with long hair looked pretty badass. And I wish they had kind of kept that a little
longer.
Of
it, but it's just... no, they were never going to do that. Not in 2002. If it was 1993, he would look like that for the entire movie.
They
it would have been Superman Returns, man.
I was about to say Superman Returns or Patrick Swayze mullet.
They had to put Jinx in there just so they could have someone fight Miranda Frost, which is a great name, by the way, and her character was great. But God, I hated Halle Berry in this movie, and I remember thinking, "Oh, go ahead."
I was just gonna say, here's my moment of when I was watching it, going, "Oh, come the fuck on!" and then I had to turn it around. Not just the hotel room did it for itself. The movie does it that way. The movie doesn't do a great job of explaining this one, but when Frost attacks Jinx on the plane, I went, "What the fuck is she wearing?" Like, she's got basically a sports bra and a sleeve.
Pants,
and I'm like, why are you running around dressed like this? And then I realized that they had them in the room where she had all her sword shit. She was fucking practicing. Like, the movie never says that, but I'm like, okay, fine. I could back off on that one a little bit. I get it to some degree. Also, though, at the same time, they knew what the fuck they were doing.
Man,
they knew exactly what they were doing.
Listen,
exactly, it's just for sex.
Here's a cinema sin. Not to take that guy's thing. If you have a character, a villain that is as interesting as Miranda Frost, both visually very attractive, is capable of fighting, she's a fucking world-class fencer, you have to have a protagonist, a good guy, not a protagonist, a good guy, that is equally interesting. The reason Hulk Hogan was so successful was because his villains were great, but they wouldn't have been great if Hogan himself hadn't been great. It has to be equal. And when you have a character like Miranda Frost who is so much better than Jinx, it makes the entire thing feel, it feels contrived, and it just feels forced, is the best way I can describe it. It felt so forced.
I'm gonna step up to the plate here for just a second, because I've been holding back on this one. This actually might be the most controversial thing I'm going to say tonight. If we're going to look at the whole thing in a bubble, this is still the best portrayal of a Bond girl we gotten yet.
Yes, because she's super capable.
On her own accord.
Yeah.
Does her own, basically is treated as relevant to Bond and equal to Bond as anybody has ever been made out to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's Tracy.
Yeah.
Say who? Who again?
Tracy.
Which one?
Tracy.
But
she's an agent too.
Yeah. Yes.
But she's an agent too,
well,
and she's as capable.
And this one's an agent too, so she's right. And that's happened a couple of times. This is the only one who's been treated at that exact same level and isn't just there to eventually get captured and rescued, although there is a version of that, but
But she tries to rescue herself.
Exactly. Why didn't the room she was in melt too? Anyway.
Well, why?
I'll also note, for next year, there are other Bond-ish girls in the Brosnan run that do kind of compare, but that's for World Is Not Enough.
Michelle Yeoh.
Next year.
It's Michelle
yes,
Yeoh, isn't
yeah,
it?
Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
Michelle Yeoh. But yes, I would say even in that, Brosnan does the best job in 2 of its movies of giving us Bond girls that are competent, capable agents. And
Well,
Right.
To be fair, if you go back to GoldenEye, Natalia, even though she's not an agent, she's also capable. She survives on her own. She gets out. She's capable. I think at this point,
They did start it there.
yeah. Here's we've talked about this a million times. The Brosnan films really set the wheels in motion for a more modern Bond that doesn't rely on as many tropes. The problem is, while they're doing it, they still then rely on the tropes anyway to get through the film.
It's funny that you mentioned that because we talked so much about when we reviewed GoldenEye last year, that moment where, he's told by M that, hey, he's a dinosaur. The Cold War is over. There's not a need for people like him anymore. And then, of course, they fall back on that same stuff. This movie, I forgot, doubles down on that a little bit. M
He's
at
a
one
blunt
point in time
instrument.
says the world has well, no, that's Frost says
yeah.
that about him. Hey, he's a blunt instrument. But M also, when they get him back from North Korea, says the world has changed a lot since you've been gone. And it's pretty clear that there's a double entendre. It's pretty clear that it is like, it's not just since you've been in prison for 14 years and captured or whatever. It's also like, hey man, taken outside of these movies, like, these movies are having to adapt again for the fucking 8 billionth time in 60 years or whatever at this point.
We haven't addressed it. That literally, this is a year after 9/11. Let's call the elephant in the situation. The world has physically changed in the last 12 months.
What's so frustrating to me about the Bond films, especially the Brosnan ones, is you see so many hints of greatness to come, but they don't go full into it. They don't dedicate themselves. They still go back on the old tropes. To go back to Vince McMahon again, it's when he introduces a wrestler everyone always wanted to see in WWE, like AJ Styles, but then we fall back on the same old bullshit, and it feels kind of pointless. Brosnan's Bond is so frustrating because he's riding that line between what would become Bond in the Craig films and what used to be Bond with your Connerys and your Moores. He's handcuffed by what used to be, and they still haven't got the balls to go forward with it and take him into a new era. And I think that's so unfair because I still love Brosnan as Bond. His swagger, his bravado, he looks the part, he sounds the part. To me, he is the quintessential spy Bond. So how frustrating it is for me to watch a film like this and to see so many things that are great balanced out by so many things that are fucking horrendous. And it's frustrating. And I'm hoping watching Skyfall tomorrow will wash the taste from my mouth. Because when Bond is good, he's fucking great. And when he's bad, he is so cringy awful that it makes you want to never watch films again.
Yeah. We haven't addressed it. I'm going to go ahead and rip off this Band-Aid in terms of, we've mentioned it multiple times this year, because I know it's a through line that Hunter and I have said, that the Bond films are products of their time.
Yes.
This is very much a product of early 2000s action movies.
Yep.
Halle Berry rappelling from the top of the dome is Mission Impossible 1 and 2.
She is the Mission Impossible character.
She is the Mission Impossible
and
the American.
And then Bond does it again. He runs down the side of it. Same style deal.
He does, but it's borrowing from the rappel equipment that she had. So yeah, he's playing off of it. Yes, there's so many things in this film. Oh God. So Mission Impossible 2 came out in 2000. I'll say my piece just real quick because I know you're itching at it.
Yes.
There are at least 3 moments in this film where you have the slow down in the action, kind of that slow.
Oh my God, brother! I'm so glad you mentioned that.
It's at least, yeah. Now, mind you, again,
terrible.
I was watching it Speed and a Half. I was watching Speed and a Half, so I probably missed a couple of them.
And they do it in both directions. It either speeds up really quick or they slow it down and do the swing camera.
Hunter.
There's at least one time where they do them back to back, and I went, "What in the fuck are we doing?"
It's
John Woo. John Woo directed,
but it's never looked good.
It's the same fucking shot. I swear to God, it's the same fucking shot from Phantom of the Opera at the end when Raoul is underwater and it does that slow motion it's the same effect and it's horrible every time.
Well,
every time they do it in this movie, I went, why? This is bad.
You don't want to hear me talk about how much I don't like Joel Schumacher again, so we should move fast.
Well, at least, you know what? But to Joel Schumacher's credit, he did it one time in that movie, and it was awful. They did it about 10 times in this fucking movie, and it's awful every time.
That movie's not an action movie. This one is.
Well, that depends on who you ask, Hunter. The Phantom is an action hero, according to some. But let's get back to this movie.
According to him?
Shannon.
According to me, in this
According to
moment,
Shannon.
yes. I wanted to, before we get to the reviews, I wanted to bring up one more scene that as I watched the scene, you almost saw me get out of my chair and like an old cartoon character start doing, or an old prospector just start doing the, like I was about to go full on fucking Junie Moon or whatever his name is. The part where he fights the guy, Mr. Kill, with the lasers while Holly Berry is strapped to it is one of the dumbest action sequences I have ever seen in my life. Now, the kill is awesome. Him getting the laser through the back of the head.
Fucking
yes,
note, man.
But Jesus Christ, that whole fight with the lasers, I was like, this is such a late 90s, early 2000s action movie that it's pathetic. Like, oh my God.
You know how badly when it was over, I wanted it to, instead of having gone through his mouth, to have gone through one of his eyes. And as soon as he collapses, Bond just looks at her and goes, "Oh, looks like he saw the light of day." And then just goes on about it like
he might as well.
I needed the pun.
It's a quip for every fucking moment. All right, I'm done talking about it. Let's get to
you didn't. No, you're not, because you didn't even talk about the invisible car.
Thank you.
Do we have to?
Okay,
all right.
We do.
So
I told Shannon.
Vanquish.
The Vanquish. I told Shannon about this specifically because the car itself looks dope. Of course it does. All of the Brosnan Bond cars look fucking amazing. But the active camo thing, he was like, invisible car. Sure, why not invisible car? I said, you know what? Here's the thing. In a James Bond movie, especially when they give a description of how it works, the cameras, and they project what's on the other side and blah, 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 fine. I can totally accept that. What I can't accept is the motherfucker is apparently also unhearable because he drives it 3 feet away from like 6 people who appear to not be able to hear it anywhere near them.
It's a hybrid.
Backs it up. No,
no, it's not. I wish it was.
When he is reversing the vehicle out like 25 minutes later, you hear the engine purring as it's in reverse.
Yes.
And I'm like,
yes.
Can't even keep up with your own fucking continuity.
To its credit,
Shannon doesn't realize he just made an office joke, by the way. And I know Cody knows what I'm talking about. If he keeps the Prius under 5 miles an hour, it's virtually undetectable.
Well, I think we made that joke with the dirigible.
When Andy and Dwight are fighting over Angela, and Andy uses it to pin Dwight against the wall, he's driving up there like, how does he not hear him? And immediately Oscar goes, well, if he keeps the Prius under 5 miles an hour, it's virtually undetectable.
I will say this, at least give him points for the fact that you could still see the tracks in the snow. Because when he pulled up, I went, oh, what, does it not leave tracks either? And it did. Thank God at least it did. And also,
it's not... Right, and it's not really invisible. I mean, there are definitely times where when they show it that way, you can see the refraction. Right. That's the way Q explains it. It's like a refraction of the light thing, which is like a fucking thing. It's a thing that we've managed. And now, anyway, I don't know that we had at the time, nor would it work this well. It was, however, very stupid that he was like backed up the wall and invisible, and that's how Homeboy drives his car over and kills himself. I'm sorry. I know that it's a villain thing, and it's a Bond villain thing, especially, or whatever. He had Bond dead to rights, and that car was loaded with rockets. Blow him the fuck up and move on.
I wanted to mention that.
I'm so tired of that kind of shit. Or like, there's literally a moment in this movie where one of them, and I forget which one it is, has Bond held up by his arms and literally walks away and goes, kill him. No, motherfucker, you kill him. You have a pistol on your hip. Pull it out. Put a bullet in his head and move on.
Or when he's about to kill Jinx with the gun, the guy goes, no, I'm going to use the laser. And the laser apparently runs at about 1 inch an hour because by the time Bond's done with his fucking fight, it still hasn't killed her.
I would like to believe that was an homage, right?
Sure.
It's an homage to Goldfinger, but it's just done way more clunky.
Also, Zhang's car, which has a fucking rocket in every orifice, every fucking compartment on that car has a rocket in it. I hope he doesn't bump into something.
Not just that, the fact that when they're driving through the melting ice palace, because the heat of the fucking sun is directed at an ice palace. It's a drop top. He's driving a drop top in the rain,
there were
and I love
so many times
going, and it's like, that's not going to help you, homie.
Even without the water, why would you drive a drop top around with a fucking war machine,
machine
Gatling gun on the back? Yeah. Someone could just shoot you from behind. You're dead.
Those shells have to be expelled somehow.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Jokes aside, my frustration with the Bond films is that they have to constantly escalate to the point where it's ridiculous. Because we're 20 movies in. You can only have so many, that makes sense villains. You at some point have to start getting crazy. But it's so crazy that it's almost parody. That's what A View to a Kill was. It was so crazy. It was parody. And this movie borders that line so hard. It's sad. Again, the whole time I'm watching this, I'm literally thinking Pierce Brosnan deserves better. He was so good in GoldenEye. I stand by GoldenEye. I think that's one of the best Bond movies they ever made. It still has some of the old Bond tropes that I don't like, but like the actors, the acting, the action, the feel, it's a fucking vibe. And then you see this movie and you go, okay, so what is he doing, like a parody of himself? No, they thought this was cool in 2002. They thought we really got it this time.
A big part of the beginning of it was again, the first maybe half of this movie works pretty well for the most part, and then after that it goes off the rails. I should mention before we move away from it, because I know we're going to the
yes, we are
again talking about the Bond movies are a product of the time. So Triple X, again, Cody mentioned earlier. I think this is way more Triple X than it is Bourne. I think they looked at Bourne and went, we can't be that. We have to be something else. Bourne is
they
gritty.
Also looked at Bourne, and Bourne was
serious.
4 months before this. They're like, we can't edit this shit to make that happen.
Right, exactly. We cannot be that thing, so it's not going to be that. We just can't.
Royale that.
Exactly. But it's also Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious was already out by this point. So the car chase is indicative of what it's kind of funny. Actually, the car chase scenes in this movie are what Fast and Furious will become eventually with the crazy, guns and all kinds of crazy shit.
Stupid. God damn.
Yeah, but we can't. We're not here. We're not here for that. We have no time.
I'm sorry.
I
was going to say, let me quote my favorite line from one of the Fast and Furious movies because it applies to this film. Ejectocito, cuz.
Oh my God, when he's upside down and hits the ejector seat and it flips up.
I was here for it. It's fine. It was so stupid at that point. I'm here for it.
All the dumb shit, I'm okay with that one.
Something just occurred to me. Is it going to come to a point where one day we're going to give Jesse a whole month and we're going to watch all the Fast and Furious movies?
Yes.
Is that going to happen?
It has to.
Oh God!
So hey boys, good news. Don't call me. I'm good.
You know what's super weird about this? I've seen one Fast and Furious movie, and it's 2. I never saw the first one. I saw the second one at theaters, and that's
your best option. Your best option, honestly.
What I've heard.
I've seen one film, and it's the first one, and I remember being so in love with the first one that I went out and bought Need for Speed Underground, and we all kind of got into
Midnight
this
Club. It was Midnight Club.
I didn't know Midnight Club at the time. I wish I had.
Yeah. Well, again, Too Fast, Too Furious is the one I saw, so Midnight Club fit that perfectly. I guess if you want to be really technical, I also saw Hobbs and Shaw. I wish I hadn't seen Hobbs and Shaw, but I did watch Hobbs and Shaw, and it's very stupid.
I haven't seen it either. I think I have
real dumb.
I have 1, 2, 4.
Roman Reigns spears a guy.
He does.
It's true.
It's true.
I have seen that clip. We'll come back to it, but just don't invite me for anything past 3. That's my only request.
And please don't invite me for any of them if you have a heart. But Fast and the Furious is not James Bond, and I still love James Bond. And even though this movie sucked, it's still James Bond, so I still enjoyed my time. And that's what I will say about James Bond. Even the terrible films, I think that was fun, and it's going to be fun to talk about it. Now let's have fun eviscerating it. Let's get to the reviews. On this show, we follow a 5-point system. You don't have to worry about the first 3. 2 thumbs up means you love it. 1 up means you like it. 1 up, 1 down means you're indifferent or neutral. 1 down means you dislike it, and 2 down means you hate it. The only Bond film that's ever got double downs across the board is A View to a Kill. We've disliked other Bond films, but that was the one we all universally agreed this is terrible. I'm really curious to see where this goes. I really am. So I want to start with Cody. We're so glad to have you back. This is his last week with us as a regular. Hopefully he won't take a year for him to come back, because goddamn. Cody.
Hopefully not. But
Cody.
again, you may need to wash the taste out of your mouth for what we do tonight and tomorrow before we come back to James Bond with me again next January.
Well, I got the thrust of it. Go ahead, Cody.
Oh my God, it is okay. You made the comp I was going to. The one endearing quality we had with A View to a Kill was that Christopher Walken chewed so much damn scenery, and Toby Stephens does the same thing in this movie, with less screen time and really less endearing qualities about the plot that goes around the whole Icarus Sun satellite. Because again, we didn't even say the name. It's fucking Icarus, because of course it is, because you have to name something mythological and not even really use the pun of him flying too close to the sun. He got electrocuted into the fan of a fucking
Cody,
jet.
it's because he's deep. He's deep.
Can I jump in real quick on something that we forgot to talk about?
Sure.
Does anyone in the world look at what this guy is doing and go, well, he'll never use that for evil?
That's not once.
So I mean, he's Elon Musk, right? Without the autism.
Well,
hang on.
So
don't get ahead of yourself.
One of the things that the screenwriters used as inspiration was Richard Branson. They mixed in Hugo Drax from Moonraker and also Richard Branson. And again, fast forward 25 years, 20 years, you could say, oh yeah, the guys that are building spaceships and shuttles, surely they won't be the bad guys at the end of the day. Anyway, we'll come back to that on another Thursday show when I show up when the heat death of the universe arrives far sooner than expected, in the Icarus satellite being the root cause.
Please.
If I gave View to a Kill 2 thumbs down despite Christopher Walken, I can't give this movie any less despite my love for Toby Stephens. Again, it's a sin. I'll admit it. I watched this movie at times at time and a quarter or time and a half speed, and it was still too long. If you want to know the scale of entertainment that was in the room with me, I was sitting in the living room with my wife while she was watching Charmed. Season 8 of Charmed, the really bad Charmed. I was more interested at times by what was happening on fucking Charmed than I was by watching a James Bond movie. That is unacceptable. I cannot believe the series that we have set up, in part because I was dumb enough to defend Bond and arguably entertaining, that it's going to be the second time in this month that I'm giving a movie 2 thumbs down. But this movie's getting 2 thumbs down. There are not enough redeemable components for me to think it is anything more than a completely passable film. The quips aren't there. The Q isn't there. The Mission Impossible and XXX inspirations are there, and God, I wish they weren't. It has a cool car. It has a cool double agent that we've seen at least a couple of times, although this is one of the better executions with the 7 minutes of screen real estate she's given. Brosnan was played out not of his own accord, but this was a pitiful way to end his run, and there is a reason we needed a staunch reboot to take this back to the beginning. 2 thumbs down.
All right, I'm going to piggyback on what Cody said. Hunter, it's my turn with the kids this week. It's my time with the kids. Fuck.
This week. I was gonna say so.
Every time.
So I'm not giving
it every time.
I'm not giving it 2 thumbs down because I didn't hate it that much. I think if you're in 2002, especially if you're in 2002 and you're watching a action film, this movie is probably going to satisfy you, because I've seen the type of shit that satisfies these fucking plebs. And I feel like this movie they were just wiping the mud off their fucking mouths and going hoo hoo and really digging this, because it's so like, wow, that space laser real tough. Look at Halle Berry and them bikinis. So they probably thought this was the grand pajamas or whatever. But personally,
the grand pajamas.
I want to say this out loud now. I wanted to like this movie so much. This movie so much. I thought it was going to be one of those things where you guys all talk about how terrible it is, and I was going to be the dissenting voice that was like, no, I see all the redeeming qualities, because that's happened before. Fucking Phantom of the Opera, Gremlins. Sure. There are times that we disagree on this film, and I go, no, I really liked it, even though you guys didn't. I don't know why we saw 2 different things, but not this film. I can't give it 2 thumbs down simply because I didn't think it was as bad as View to a Kill. I think View to a Kill is the worst Bond movie ever, but goddamn did it come close. If I could do minus 1.5, I would, but because it is Brosnan, and I think he did a stand-up job as Bond, even with what he was given, and there was enough things in it that I liked, like The Ice Palace, as stupid as it is, visually is very cool. Practically, who the fuck wants to go to a hotel that's literally filled with ice? And the reasoning for it, oh my god, we didn't talk about it, is she said the ratio of like ice to people keeps it comfortable. Yeah? Is that how it works? You get enough warm people inside of an ice castle and everything's fine?
Again, also in Iceland, the island that is notoriously not ice.
Right? I didn't think about that, honestly.
Yeah, no, I did. Don't worry.
If not for the fact that the first half of this movie had me pretty locked in, I would have given it 2 thumbs down, because I think Brosnan is in top form as the MI6 agent who has been disavowed. His dialogue with M when he's in the hospital and he's like, oh, what do you think? The way he's portraying it, I really felt this was the most Bond versus MI6 that I've ever felt, in the sense that you could tell that MI6 kind of tolerates him because he's so good, but at the same time, he is such a problem child. He breaks the rules. He does what he wants, but because he's so good, they kind of let him get away with it. And I loved that. I think this movie really accentuates that more than anything. I liked the bad guy. Like, as we didn't even talk about how culturally insulting it is to have a North Korean change to a British dude to get ahead. But if you ignore that, it's a pretty good plot device, because he said in the opening, he studied in the West. He learned all of these things. He is a student of the game, so he could pull off that accent. He could pull off the look. I thought that was an interesting villain, and it was an interesting henchman in Zhao and Miranda Frost. The problem is that they spend more time with Halle Berry's character getting into hijinks than they do with establishing characters that you're going to care about. And that's frustrating. I was so frustrated during this movie because I wanted to like it, and they kept teasing me with great things and then taking it away for... It's not even a Bond problem. I agree with Hunter on this. This is not a Bond problem. This is a 2002 problem. Action movies were trying to find an identity at this point, and the shit that was coming out was not like James Bond at all. And instead of James Bond doing its own thing, Cody, they decided, well, we'll try to match what they're doing and put Bond in it, and it failed. It failed horribly.
It's what they've always done, and it just didn't work this time. One counterpoint I just want to say before we move to Hunter, I find it interesting that you say this is the most interesting dynamic, or the most that you've enjoyed the rapport between Bond and MI6 tolerating him, despite the fact that we just reviewed License to Kill last week. So I would say that does a better job of it.
So I found it more interesting in License to Kill, 100%. But the fact that we talked about this last week, the fact that it went from I retire to they're shooting at him and he's running away versus what they did in this film, I thought this film handled it better, where they basically just disavowed him. They didn't try to kill him immediately. I thought they went 0 to 100 in the last movie too fast. I wish there was more of you had more time to like really take it in.
Well, they went 0 to 100 and then 100 to 0. Back to 0. Because at the end, it's just like, oh, never mind. You did the thing, so you're welcome.
This movie, to its credit, this film does a great job with him inviting him to, and again, it's a great scene where he says, "I've always heard about this place, but I never thought I'd actually be here." The lost station for lost agents or something like that. Basically, this is where this is where you go to die. This is where you go to be disavowed. And Bond realizing that he had info they needed, so they needed him back. And her saying, well, looks like you're useful again. The playful banter between them, it really shows that problem child aspect of it. I loved that. I loved everything about Bond except for the villains and Jinx. If they had changed those things around, it might have been a great movie. It might have been a good movie. I don't want to say great movie. But as it is, it's a horrible last outing for Pierce Brosnan. I'm going to watch GoldenEye tomorrow along with Skyfall, just because I want to wash this out of my mouth. Brosnan deserved better, because to me, he's still the best Bond there is, because he combines the coldness of the Daniel Craig and Timothy Dalton's with the suave playboy feel of Sean Connery and Roger Moore. He just does a great job of combining them. And god damn, I don't understand how they couldn't write a better film for him.
Remind me, though, you haven't seen any of the Craig movies except for Casino Royale, right?
I've seen Casino Royale and I've seen Quantum of Solace, but I don't remember anything about Quantum of Solace other than what happens to Strawberry Fields.
That's fine. It's probably for the better.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Honestly, it's not going to come up tomorrow.
The only thing I'll say about Quantum of Solace is it has one of my favorite enemy kills of all time when he leaves him in the desert with the can of oil because he's getting revenge for Strawberry. That is a good moment in a bad film. Unfortunately, this film is just bad moments wrapped in a couple of things that I thought were fun. In 2002, I would have recommended this. In 2026, as a grown-ass man who understands what sex is, this film fails on a lot of levels. But it's not as bad as the worst I've ever seen, so I cannot give it 2 thumbs down. And it's not because of my love of Brosnan. I generally think this is a more enjoyable film than A View to Kill. Like, this had better stuff in it. So if View to Kill is the worst, this is the second... No, because that's counting the Connerys. I was going to say this is the second worst Bond film I've ever seen, but goddamn, I really hate the Connery Bonds, and I feel like maybe I'm an idiot for that, but goddamn. I'm giving it 1 down. Let's leave it at that.
I also didn't really. I mean, I made a big point to say I did not like Diamonds Are Forever. You like Diamonds Are Forever more than I did. As a matter
I did,
of fact,
and that was the kindest I've been all year. I'm drinking this whole bottle. I don't fucking care. My calorie count is going to go up, but the government sucks dick. So, Hunter, let's take it to you.
All right, I'll connect
I wish
those
I was
dots.
British. I wish I was
British. Would you believe, and this is a true story, that after the movie and well before we did the show, because I finished this movie about 6:30, somewhere in there, I was actually somewhere around the mid range. I think I was at 1 up, 1 down. I was never all the way over the top, but I remember getting to the end and going, look, there's a lot of stupid shit that happens in this movie. There's a lot of stupid shit that happens in a lot of James Bond movies, and at a certain point, you just kind of have to go, this is what we're doing.
Right.
This is what these movies are.
Yeah.
It's fine. They're silly. They're over the top. They're never going to be super realistic for the most part, save for a couple of the Craig ones. It's whatever.
To an extent.
Yeah, and Lazenby to an extent.
And License to Kill to an extent. Sorry. All right, I'm done.
Well, License to Kill still has some pretty over the top shit. They were climbing around on those trucks for a long time in the desert. Anyway, so there was part of me that left this going. There were things that I liked. There were things I liked about this. I like Pierce Brosnan as Craig. Craig as Bond. Fuck me. I'm kind of in the same boat as Shannon. He's not my favorite. I still think Daniel Craig is my favorite. But I like Pierce Brosnan a lot, and frankly, I just like watching him do shit on screen. He's just a fun guy to watch do stuff.
Agreed.
Rosamund Pike is great in this movie.
She's
we
fantastic.
Talked about it earlier. She's really, really good in this film, and it's honestly, it's kind of a shame that she isn't the Bond girl, and that she ends up having to ham it up as the villain, because I think she would have been better served as the one who both matches Bond and does actually manage to subvert the trope. I really loved the bit of her pulling him in to like use as a cover, and then him being like, no, they've been gone for ages. Oh, you're ridiculous.
Yeah,
and then like if that had been it, that would have been great. That would have been awesome. I actually really liked that a lot. And to be fair, I actually really liked the turn of like, okay, then they do get in bed, and I went, oh, come the fuck on. And then, of course, it turns out she's using it against him. I like that quite a bit. I like the villain most of the time. The exoskeleton was totally fucking stupid. The constant electric shocks like he's Emperor Palpatine was dumb. I also didn't love the final kill of him. And I frankly, I thought the bit of, it's time to meet destiny. No, it's time to meet gravity. And something about the delivery didn't work for me.
Quips.
I think the line's funny enough.
It's the quips.
Well, no. See, I think I thought the line was fine. Frankly, I thought the line itself was fine. This is where I'm going to hold it against Pierce Brosnan. I didn't like his delivery of it's time to meet gravity. The way he says it is weird. I don't know. You'd have to go back and listen to it, but I didn't care for that part. So there was part of me that went, I like some stuff. Oh, and we didn't even talk about any of the minefield stuff with the hovercraft. Dude, that's actually pretty fucking clever. I had kind of a field day with that. That stuff was pretty good. Also, it gets completely lost in the shuffle, but I sort of like that the idea was I'm going to use this satellite that people can't control to destroy the mines and cut a path for our army. I'm going to use it as the Hammer of Dawn. You made the reference earlier. That's a cool idea.
Literally is the Hammer of Dawn.
Right. The problem is the movie has so many cool ideas, and it has no idea how to actually get from spot to spot with them. All the shit that happens in between and all the ridiculous stuff that happens in and around those things, we spend so much time on that car chase on the ice. I mean, that is like, in a movie that's a little over 2 hours long, that's got to be the little over 2 hours, right? It's got to be like a 13-minute scene minimum.
It takes up
a huge... Yeah, it takes up a huge chunk of time, which is just insane. We spend way too much time on Jinx, who could be an interesting character with a better actor and with some better writing, because she's also way too quippy. I love the idea of somebody who could match Bond's like energy and match Bond's crazy without also having to, like, everything she says is a trope. I really expected her at any given point in time. At one point in time, he saves her and she's like, "What took you so long?" And I'm saying it out loud before she says it because I know that's the line that's coming. Or when she calls her bitch, when she kills her, I was like, oh, because it's two women, so she's got to call her a bitch.
I think I broke her heart.
Oh, man.
What fucking sense did that line make? She didn't even stab her in the heart. She stabbed her in the stomach.
Right. It didn't even hit her in the right place. Yeah, that was dumb. I love the idea of a character that can match Bond's energy and his crazy and his talent, but this is not that. And the problem is they picked the it girl of the time, they slotted her in, they gave her a bunch of stupid lines, which were all quips, and it just doesn't work. She drags the movie down in a big way, both the actor and the character. So ultimately, what do you have? A pretty unoriginal conclusion to what could have been a pretty original plot. The problem is, and we didn't talk about this earlier, but the whole different identity, rogue, turncoat agent stuff was all already done better in GoldenEye. Brosnan already had a better version of this film. Sean Bean, as one character, does everything that you need from the General and from Frost.
Yep.
So it's sort of like the diminishing returns of the Terminator stuff, where like you get the best version of the Terminator in the T-1000, and then everything from there is like, again, okay, but what if she had boobs? But what if there was one that could be a person? Like it's not interesting or fun.
They do it with, and to be fair, it's not just Brosnan, it's also Craig, it's every Bond. It feels like the more the Bond films go on, they just lose sight of how to make him interesting. Because every first Bond film series is good. Lazenby got the best of it because he only did one, so we could look at his and go, wow, that was really good. Timothy Dalton only got two, but it seems like every Bond franchise, once they keep going, it's like they just forget how to make it interesting. And I don't understand that because the first Bonds are always so good. So what's the deal?
The biggest problem with this one for me, ultimately, and we never said this out loud, but this is how I'm going to wrap up my review of it, is that Roger Ebert said, oh, it's got all the great, action spectacles that you expect of a movie of this time. The problem is that's all it's got. It's nothing but those things, and they spend way too little time on the stuff that could be interesting in the interstitials. The bit of Bond in the hospital having to reckon with the fact that not only is he reaching the end of his career, but again, he was out of action for 14 months, and the world is a totally different place. The bit where, again, he goes to the station and spends time there in the, like, basically wayward agent spot. Like, we're going to disavow you when this is done. We're getting what we need from you, and then we're finished. All of this stuff could have been done more interestingly had more time been spent on that, and not everything is fucking exploding around us.
Yes, and no jinx.
I think
completely unnecessary.
Yeah, I think we're reaching a point with the Bond movies at this point in time, or at least at this run, or at this point in time in Brosnan's run, where he's committing the cardinal sin, or they're committing the cardinal sin that happens with so many superhero movies. Not everything has to be about saving the world from a giant fucking space laser. Right. Like, sometimes the best stories are the more insular, the more contained ones. Yes. Which is, to be fair, you get a little bit of both in Skyfall, actually. Skyfall is long enough to do both of those plots, but it ends on the more intimate one, and it starts with the bigger one, and I think that works a lot better. It starts with the big over-the-top thing, and then come to find out, no, this is way more personal than that. That was just a means to an end to get you where I want you.
License to Kill was incredibly intimate.
Well, License to Kill does a lot of the same type of stuff. It goes the other way, where it starts personal and it gets bigger, but ultimately it works out. This movie is nonstop, beginning to end, biggest thing that possibly can happen, and then gets worse and worse and worse by the minute. And that's the problem, is that everything has got to be big and bombastic and over the top, where, had it not been that, and had it not had a couple of characters that it didn't need, it would have been better. I haven't said it this whole time. I'm going to land on one thumb down. With an understanding that, admittedly, I didn't have the worst time watching it. I didn't have the worst day of my life watching this movie. I would still rather watch this movie every day of the week and twice on Sunday than watch A View to a Kill again. I would still rather watch this movie than watch Diamonds Are Forever again.
Yeah.
Now that I will agree on, but that's also the other movie I went to that was down this year. So
Right, right, and I don't remember if I went 2 or 1, but I went pretty far down
No,
there
you
too.
went-
I'm gonna land
went
1
You're the one that
because I went
persuaded me
neutral.
Yeah.
because I railed at it so hard.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
Which
And we
was
were in the middle.
correct.
Yeah, okay. So again, long story short, I'm going to land on 1 here with one down. Importantly, 1 down with an understanding that if you don't want to pay that much attention to this movie, it actually probably goes the other direction and gets a little better if it's on in the background and all you're really catching is just the eye-catching stuff. But then there are going to be times where what should be eye-catching, you're going to go, I don't want to watch this because it's terrible, and you're going to look away.
I think the
It's
problem
not great.
The problem is that we know what Bond is capable of because we have seen all of these films.
Sure.
We know that Honor Majesty's Secret Service exists. We know License to Kill exists. We know GoldenEye exists. We know Skyfall and Casino Royale exists. So it's hard to take this movie in a bubble when you know how good it could be.
Yeah, 100%.
So, all right. Well,
And again, I'll say just briefly, 'cause I know this has come up in all of our previous reviews, or maybe more also offline. I find it interesting our dynamic about them because I know, Hunter, you say it specifically time and again. You try to review the movies as they are in the moment of time they're released. Shannon, I think you give them a gracious view of just overall how they fit writ large in the cinematic universe.
I try.
I don't think I could divorce myself from watching it in 2026, and I think that's where a lot of the bile comes from for this, is that we have seen so much of this so many other ways and better.
Okay, so to Cody's point, and I'm being legitimate here, if I had to review every Bond as a whole, just the whole series, at this point, I would be so goddamn sick of it because it's so many of the same tropes over and over again. How many times can James Bond fuck the girl that he shouldn't be fucking? How many times can they show the bad CG? How many times can they do the space laser or death ray or death shark or death volcano or whatever before I go, dude, I'm tapping the fuck out here. Bond films, it sounds weird. I mentioned it earlier. Bond films are a lot like wrestling. When it's good, it's great. When it's when it's bad, it's terrible. And it's 100% true. I love James Bond as a character and as a series, but like some of these films can be hard to watch, not because they're particularly bad, because it just feels like they're dragging the same shit every time. Like they hardly ever reinvent the wheel until they have a new actor.
No, this is also, I meant to throw this in earlier, but this is also why I'm glad we're doing this the way we're doing it. Once a year, we come back, we tackle a handful. I think at this point, it looks like we're probably going to be into we're halfway through, basically, in terms of years. Because next year we should be able to do the last, or one of the last big chunks, and then finish it up the year afterward. But yeah.
It's something, and again, we've said this again previously. I think it just continues coming to light as we do, especially this year, having done double features. And admittedly, this is someone like me who hasn't been here for all the episodes this year, unfortunately. This is the franchise, despite it coming out in its early years, every 18 to 24 months, this is the franchise that suffers greatly from watching them in succession. It's, you make the wrestling reference. This is a situation where we are rubber banding from watching a WrestleMania 30, a WrestleMania 17, and you're smash cutting it with any WrestleMania in the last 8 years, or WrestleMania 2 at all 3 sites. Like, if you are mashing so many of the same things with same tropes and same character flavors together, you're chewing the stick of gum until the flavor's gone. And you pop another stick eventually, and it's like, oh yeah, this is something good here. And then you just chew the flavor out of it, and it just leaves that bad taste in your mouth. Unfortunately, I think we're seeing that in real time with us reviewing the Bond films. This is a franchise that is, to its detriment, watched in rapid succession.
I think a more appropriate comparison for this series, for me at least, and if Zach's listening, he'd probably agree, is Godzilla. Because Godzilla released films every year or 2 years there for a while. Like, it was seriously over and over again. And if you watch them one at a time, just randomly, they're fun. But when you watch them in clusters, you realize that there's about 5 good ones. And the rest of them are just dragging up the same things over and over again, the same tropes, the same storylines. And that makes the standouts like, Godzilla 85 or the original Godzilla or Final Wars or Shin Godzilla. It makes them stand out as, wow, these are great films compared to the other ones. But it's kind of an unfair comparison because the other ones are so lackluster. And Bond is like that too. The good ones, GoldenEye, Skyfall, I assume I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard. License to Kill under Majesty's Secret Service, they're so good compared to the other Bonds. But that doesn't discount the fact that they've made 26 Bonds. And that doesn't discount the fact that they've made probably, I think, 20 or 30 Godzilla films. Some of them are just bad. And that's just the truth. They're just bad.
There's 38 of them, by the way, because I was looking it up.
Oh,
I was gonna make a
really?
joke. It's like there are 38.
Holy
Godzilla minus
shit.
0. When Godzilla minus 0 comes out, that will be the 39th in the Godzilla franchise, the 34th by Toho. So,
And
I mean, that's why I was going to make it. That's why you do like me, and you only watch Godzilla minus 1, and you're like, man, this is fucking great. I don't need anything else. I'm done.
Well, see, here's the problem. You remember that bit earlier where I was like, hey, I've only seen one Fast and Furious, and it was too fast, and that's the one that I hear is like the best and it's good. I've only seen one Godzilla movie, and it was Godzilla 97.
Well, don't worry, because we got Godzilla coming up, I think, and we'll watch the good ones. We'll do the good ones.
Yeah, he wants to make it happen.
Because Godzilla minus
one, he gets 5 of them in March.
Minus 1 is a great film. 85 is a really good film. The original one for 54 is a fantastic movie. It's like it's like on Her Majesty's Secret Service. You're like, wow, this is an old movie, but it speaks so well to today's standards. And we'll try to avoid the other 32 films in the series that are just fucking Godzuki running around spitting out smoke rings,
Godzuki!
God damn it. All right, let's wrap this up. We haven't done the trivia. Let me just throw these out of here real quick. So there's a part where 007 picks up...
one of them, at least.
He picks up a book, and I remember you putting this in the trivia, and he looks at it, and I remember the bird thing.
Yeah.
So the book that 007 picks up when he's in the office in Cuba is a field guide to birds of the West Indies, which is written by James Bond. Ian Fleming, who was an avid bird watcher, named his spy after the author.
You can't see that in the movie. I should mention, you can't see that in the movie. It's scratched out on the cover. Yeah. Yeah.
This movie is
that's where Ian
fan-service
Fleming got the name.
And the worst part of it, Pierce Brosnan tells a story that after the release of this film, he was approached by a man in Dublin who at a bar who asked to shake his hand. Brosnan complied and cracked up when the man quipped, "That's the closest my hand will ever get to Halle Berry's arse." Well, that tells you everything you need to know about this film and this series and humanity as a whole.
Memorable moments.
Because, all right, man. When I watch this movie, look, I'm the dog of the Podzilla clan, right? I'm the fucking mouth watering, jaw to the floor, look at the bazongas guy, right? Like I'm a guy's guy.
I did not know where you're going with this.
When I saw Halle Berry, I remember thinking like, wow, why did I not find her more attractive when I was younger? She's so incredibly hot. She's the hottest girl in this movie by far. And then the moment Rosamund Pike entered the scene and started talking, I was like, never mind. Rosamund Pike is badass. So I don't know where I was going with that. I'm so sad.
Other than I know.
You just wanted to talk about these things.
It's true. All the appeal of Halle Berry's character is ruined once they start talking about ornithology and mojitos. It's just it's all gone.
I thought rewatching this film today, when they're talking the first time, I thought that it was spy lingo. I thought they knew each other. They made each other as spies, and they were doing lingo to confirm it. Like the bat flies at midnight or whatever. Oh, that's code for I'm a spy.
Package, yeah.
Well, and they already did a version of that with the cigars, which I thought was pretty fucking clever. He asked for a specific kind of cigar, and the whole layout of the tobacco lasts longer, and that was pretty good. I liked that.
But it wasn't that. He was literally literally charming her so much with his talk of predators and prey that they banged. Are you fucking kidding me?
Can I point out one of my favorite random things from this movie before I forget about it? Every time they went back, and I can't think of that character's name, it was like Raul or something. Every time they went back to his office to do something, the office of the guy in Cuba and Havana, every single time there would be at least one shot from around the ceiling where you could see the ceiling fan moving slowly. And I paused at the second time and I said, man, shots in movies from Cuba and slow-moving ceiling fans. Name a more iconic duo. Why do all these people have ceiling fans that are set on half-speed low? Right. What is happening?
What is that doing? Because
what's that doing?
Too much power, and you were fighting. You were part of the revolution.
And if you keep it under 5 miles per spin, then it's virtually undetectable.
For the record, I drank the whole bottle. All right.
We know.
You said it.
You told us.
I'm so fucking angry with life right now. I'll save it for Thursday as best I can, but I'm a little package of rage.
Oh, all right. God. We have another review tomorrow to go and a tabletop game before we get there.
We'll see how many people ice kill before then. All right. So, sorry, Cass. let's get to the what happens after the movie.
Let's not. I thought we were just going to skip this part.
No, well, what happens after this movie? It's actually interesting because this was Brosnan's last film. And after this, Daniel Craig takes the mantle. And I remember the backlash to Daniel Craig being the next Bond. Oh, he's James Blonde. And he doesn't do his own stunts, etc., etc. Which I don't think Brosnan did his own stunts either, but whatever.
No, I was going to say, if anything, Craig did a few more of them, and that's why he ended up with broken ribs and shit.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he did a shit ton of his own stunts.
I remember the hatred for Craig the moment they announced him, and maybe that's because they liked Brosnan so much. Which I mean, cool. Brosnan was a great Bond, but Craig is also a great Bond. I think it's the tribalism in any community is terrible. You can just say when everybody's good. Brosnan was good. Craig was good. Connery was good. I don't like him. But that's not to take away from his fucking cultural influence as fucking James Bond. We wouldn't be doing this review series if Sean Connery hadn't been so iconic. So Don't take anything away from him. But it's an interesting story what happens to Bond after this because they reboot the series. Craig takes over. He does Casino Royale, which I think is the best Bond movie. I really do. As much as I love Brosnan and I love GoldenEye, and in my review said it. I think Casino Royale is my favorite Bond film.
It's the only one that got 2 thumbs up from us across the board, as I recall.
He did a fantastic job, especially in that movie. And now,
except for On Her Majesty's Secret Service,
that also got double thumbs. And I gave License to Kill 2 thumbs up. I think that's the only other one I've given 2 thumbs up because I think everything else has been 1 up. Even GoldenEye, I think I gave a 1 up. To be fair,
you did. Yes, we only won on that one.
I think more interesting is what happens to Bond next. You know, I know that's a cheat code, but what happens after Craig? That's a whole show we have to do in the future because, Cody, that's a whole separate thing with Amazon taking over. That's a whole show we could do based on that. For this, all I'll say is that since I like to...
Wait. You didn't go through the ending.
Oh, fuck. Right. Sorry. Bond and Graves engage in a fist fight. I like to forget it. While Jinx attempts to regain control of the rapidly descending plane, Frost attacks Jinx with her sword to her throat. Doesn't kill her, though, forcing her to defend herself in a sword duel because of honor, I guess. After the plane passes through the Icarus beam and is further damaged, Jinx kills Frost. Graves attempts to escape, but Bond opens Graves' parachute, pulling him out of the plane into one of his engines, which was cool, sailing the Icarus beam. Bond and Jinx escape from the disintegrating plane in a helicopter from the cargo hold with Graves' stash of diamonds. Later, they spend a romantic evening at a Buddhist temple. Because, I mean, I guess... If the last thing your character does is make out with Halle Berry in a bed full of diamonds, yeah, that's a pretty good way to fucking go out. But
what about that thing with Moneypenny? Oh wait, that was just the virtual reality glass.
I'm glad we could talk about that for a second because I'm split on that. One, it was funny to see her fantasies finally coming to life, but I enjoyed Moneypenny so much more when it was how do they really feel about each other thing?
Flirtation.
Yes.
Thing. Right. Yeah.
Her desperately fucking Bond in virtual reality just made it tawdry.
There's a lot, man.
Okay, I love that we're using the word tawdry for that compared to everything in this franchise. But I get what you mean. If anything, Samantha Bond, because that's the name of the actress, her Moneypenny is the most forward, I think, with her affections toward Bond in the entire series. And a lot of that
was a 90s thing.
Yeah, and it's also Lois Maxwell played Moneypenny for like fucking 25 years.
And
like she was through Connery and more, and that's where a lot more of that repartee back and forth came from. By the time you smash cut to Samantha Bond, it was much more she wants to be with Bond.
This is so unfair, but like the original actress, what was her name? One more time?
Lois Maxwell.
Her portrayal of Moneypenny was so iconic. I literally have not met a Moneypenny that I like otherwise. There was Naomi Harris. She does a good job as Moneypenny, but like the original actress was so good at it, and the repertoire between her and Bond was so good. It's hard to match that. So every Moneypenny since then has felt very like second tier to me, and I hate to say that because again, they all literally do a good job. A lot of people in these films are great actors. They're just not always given. Halle Berry is a great actress. It's just it didn't work.
So I'm told.
It didn't work. Again, I look, I hated Halle Berry. I remember back in the day thinking, I don't understand why anyone likes her. I used to make fun of her. And then I saw her in a couple films and I heard her interviews and I realized she's genuinely like super charming and a good actress. But like, why you would pick her for this role, I don't know. She was the it girl. But goddamn, was she out? She was outclassed by everybody in the film.
Yeah,
I mean, what a tack on! What a tack on! So anyway, my ending to this is just that this is the end of this version of Bond. He stays with Jinx. They fuck constantly for 30 years. Then he dies of a heart attack, and he dies a happy man. I don't care. That's it, Cody.
I follow that.
All right.
Those diamonds need to be sanitized because she wanted to have one in her navel for so long.
What was that all about?
It's cute of you to think that's the only hole she put him in. Come on.
I love that the lead up to it is just another sex joke about
don't take it perfectly.
Don't take it out. Like, like if you're in the net, I mean, fucking hell, if you're in the know. And and you hear the way that they're saying it, you're like, well, they're clearly not having sex because they don't even sound like they're having a good time. Like, what is happening?
It's so bad.
Okay.
It's weird. It's weird, man.
Are the same people that write James Bond movies the same people that make Japanese hentai?
Hang on, something just occurred to me. Aren't all of those diamonds conflict diamonds anyway?
Yeah.
Like...
Well, they're made to look like conflict diamonds.
No,
they're made to not look like conflict diamonds.
I'm being sarcastic. That was the pull, is they were like, oh, these are exactly like conflict diamonds, aren't they? Well, no, clearly.
Yeah, which again, we've already done in Diamonds Are Forever.
What is their obsession with diamonds?
Hey, because they're valuable to people. I mean, it's fine. Anyway, it's the bit. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say they brought up the diamonds and the laser again, and I couldn't take it anymore. Yeah. I got up and I was like, "Shut the fuck up!"
For me, it's the Poochie bit. Pierce Brosnan got a call. You have something to say, do you? I do. No, it fits perfectly. Ooh, Pierce Brosnan died back to his home planet.
Again, it's absolutely wild to think that this is the same actor that did GoldenEye. GoldenEye is so good.
The same actor that did much more prominent films like the Thomas Crown Affair.
Well, sure, but I'm gonna keep it strictly within the Bond. Strictly within Bond.
Right.
And Black Adam, and
Yeah. Wait, was that a shot? Because I heard he was the best part of that. I haven't seen it.
I'm just mentioning he was in it.
Either.
He was Dr. Pharaoh or Dr. Fate or whatever.
Hey, Dr. Fate. And I only found out about that recently because I never watched
DrPharaoh.com.
Of all the
don't you make me laugh. This movie couldn't do it. Don't you do it right now. You son of a bitch.
I think of all the actors that have portrayed Bond, though, if you ever want to do the former Bond versus new Bond, it's Brosnan. It has to be Brosnan. He's perfect for the I was Bond once upon a time and now I'm working against you or whatever. But they won't do that.
He's one of the only two left. That's not saying a lot.
That's not true. Wait, no.
Not a lot of options.
Oh, please don't tell me Timothy Dalton died. He didn't die, did he?
That's why I said he's only one of two left.
Well, Craig.
Oh, we're not. Craig's literally dead in the franchise. He's not coming back.
Damn, you got me there. Yeah, you burned me there. You burned me there.
The options are Brosnan and Dalton because Lazenby ain't coming back. I thought Lazenby may have passed away. I could be wrong.
He got me. He didn't get God. He go get. Is what happened.
He goes get. That's locked in. That's locked in.
I don't disagree with you, but we are rapidly running out of time to make that a concept. And at this point, they can't even figure out what they're doing with the franchise, so I wouldn't hold my breath.
With that said, Cody, before I go to Hunter and see what he's got planned, I don't know if you watched most about it, but I'm drunk. The First Light game looks very interesting. If they can pull it off, it looks very interesting.
I have not played any of the newer Hitman games, so I can't speak to have any experience with IO Entertainment or IO Interactive, but given the high reviews of that franchise in its most recent iterations, and how much I like what I've seen so far, I am willing to play it on PC when it comes out.
I'm gonna play it
if I can get my PC working, because clearly that's not happening tonight, and that's why I'm doing this on an iPad. But that's the future Cody problem.
There's like 3 James Bond video games that you absolutely have to play. Obviously, GoldenEye. I think GoldenEye is the standard, right? Like, even though it's clunky as shit,
sure,
it's the one.
I'm saying it was the standard. I'm willing to go back to it, but it's clunky as shit now.
Yeah.
And then Everything or Nothing. I think Nightfire was pretty well loved, but Everything or Nothing is the one I really want to play because I've been told it's the most like a James Bond film. In fact, it was after this movie. Everything or Nothing is the real end to Brosnan's role as Bond, and it's much better than this fucking film, from what I've been told. So I really need to play that game. Yeah. All right. With that said. Oh boy, everything's blurry. Double H, last word. Anything you want to add to the what comes next?
No, I don't really think that there's anything to this time around. I mean, like you said, since this is his last go around, the true epilogue is that, he probably retires from the service or he doesn't. I don't know. I don't think there's a really interesting or satisfactory version of this that's worth noting. That was kind of the whole premise of the show originally. And whether he and Jinx don't stay together and he goes back to the service and she goes back to the NSA, they do stay together. Why do you want to fight me?
No, I'm just angry because you just made me think of something. No, you made me think of something. The point of this show was originally what happens to the characters after the movie? How do they change? What happens to them? The problem with fucking James Bond is he never fucking changes. He's always the same fucking character.
Well, and to be fair, we at the end of Evil Dead Rise, which was the first one, we were speculating on what would happen. And because these movies aren't always sequential or like they don't really build upon what happened before, you can take it whenever you want. And what's interesting about that is there have been times where we've talked about there is a really cool version of this. Like, again, had George Lazenby done another one, it would have been Licensed to Kill early on, right? He goes on a revenge quest to get revenge for the death of his wife. That would have been amazing. I remember talking about that at the time and loving it. Yeah. This is the end of Brosnan's run, and again, like, I for better or worse, maybe it's a good thing that it wraps up on a very specific note, but I don't think there's an interesting version of what happens after this. Like you said, either they stay together, they sell the fucking conflict diamonds because, fuck that, I guess, and they go off the grid and live their lives together, or they break up the very next day, they turn the diamonds over to whoever, and they go right back to their jobs, and who cares? It's fighting Jay Fletcher, and who cares? It's just a game.
Yeah.
Don't spit on me.
When you have two characters that are so like one-dimensional as Jinx, and Bond isn't one-dimensional, but they sure as shit make him one-dimensional in this movie.
This one is.
Yeah. What do you care what happens to them? Like, what happens to them? It doesn't matter. There's no growth. Nope. There's no character growth. Nope. It's stagnant. And so,
exactly.
Thank God, again, I love Brosnan as Bond. I will never not love him as Bond number one. He will always be my number one. But thank God they rebooted it with Casino Royale, which was incredibly interesting. And then, but then, unfortunately, other than one or two really good films, Craig falls into the same fucking trap of, at the end, you're throwing your hands up, going, "What do we do about this James Bond? What a great character that you can't fucking write, you fucking simpletons."
Hero live long enough to become a villain.
You're not going to be able to talk by tomorrow night's show.
Brother, I'm looking forward to that. What's tomorrow? Skyfall? Thank God. Thank God.
James Bond January.
It's long. It's a long one. Just settle in. It's going to take a while to get through, but it's worth it.
Because it has some of my absolute favorite actors in it. Javier Bardem is in it, and I love Javier Bardem. He's so fucking good. It very much, from what I've read, it's very much that GoldenEye thing of here is a very intimate, personal villain for Bond, or for M at least.
Yes. Yep.
And I love that. Yes. I love that. So I'm very excited to watch this movie. That's going to be tomorrow with Skyfall as we wrap up James Bond January. And despite how much anger we've had, seriously, Cody, this has been some of my favorite episodes we ever do. I love visiting the world of James Bond. I love having you on the air. It's so good having you back. Tomorrow we do Skyfall. We'll end on a positive fucking note, and then
God, I hope so.
And then Hunter, it's going to be a fun week of shows here on PZ85. By the way, really quick, I want to say this. Last night we did our longest stream ever on Twitch at Twitchzilla 1985, and 8 hours of streaming. Ooh. And it was the most viewed video we've ever done by far. People tuned in droves. So thank you guys so fucking much for watching us play Guild Wars and wrestling and having fun with it. Thank you so fucking much. But Double H, other than James Bond, because we're going to wrap it up tomorrow with Cody and it's going to be a lot of fun, what a week of shows we've got for PZ85 otherwise.
Yep, PZ85 Plays is back on Wednesday. The horror at Headstone Hill, our Deadlands campaign continues. Episode 3. We are, you have no idea how close we are getting to the end of this campaign that started a couple of years ago. Yeah, we're in Act 3 right now. I told you this would be the last one, but
I'm very excited.
How close? Well, you never know. I don't have a set number of episodes in mind. It just depends on how fast we get there. So join in, find out what the posse's up to. They're currently heading in 2 different directions toward 2 very different situations. Boy, it's going to get wild. And then Thursday, of course, After Dark, all sorts of topics.
Let me talk about that.
All sorts of things on the top 5.
Let me talk about that.
Yes.
Something I'm going to talk about a lot.
Yes,
and I know I'm drunk. Look, I know that, but I need to say this. We're going to talk about Alex Pretty. And I am so fucking mad. I feel like I want to cry just talking about it. I'm so mad. And I'm going to have to get as high and drunk as possible on Thursday to get through it because I'm so mad. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to have fun too, I promise. But goddamn, I'm so mad about what's going on. Thursday, not right now. We're having fun. Thursday. It'll be there.
Yep, and a top 5, of course, which we'll determine between now and then at some point in time. Friday
top
night, we're playing Repo.
Bullshit Ice Palaces. Number 1. Mario, probably.
Number 1, the White House. Anyway, Friday night, there it is. Friday night, we're playing Repo over at Twitchzilla. Saturday night, PZ85 Pro Overdrive.
Yeah.
Why do we not have Cody in there yet? Why is Cody not on the roster for Overdrive?
To be fair, to pull back the curtain a little bit.
For a second.
I asked Cody. I asked Cody months ago if he wanted to be the manager, the general manager, because we haven't named him yet.
Yeah,
and Cody declined, and I respected that, obviously. I would love to have Cody a part of that in any way possible, but I always respect the person. Sure. If they're like, I don't know if I want to be a part of that right now, I 100% respect that. So yeah, I would love to have Cody.
Well, I want to know because I'm the champion now, and that would be a fun feud. Anyway,
Cody versus Hunter.
Oh God, my guy is the champion.
Yes,
the Howard Power may one day arrive. Just as disappointing as he was.
Why did I go full Zach Kurgas? That's on Saturday night, and then of course Sunday for Raga if the mood strikes. But Twitchzilla takes over all the weekends for us on Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights, and then again full week of shows coming your way. But that's it. That's what's coming up.
Yeah, 2 hours. This is one of our longest Esters and Epilogues ever, but I think it needed to be because, yeah, I know, I hear it too. But the strange thing is I'm perfectly cognizant of everything I'm saying. It's just the words don't come out right.
What we're laughing about is that Cody and I, before you got in, were like, we'll probably get into this pretty quick. There's really not that much to say about this one.
See what happens. Yeah, see what happens. All right.
The fuse lit on me, and here we are.
Sorry, A-Fan. We'll see you tomorrow. We're back with Skyfall, and then I'm with it. I'm all about it. And PZ85 Plays. Thank you guys. The balcony is closed until then. Cody and Double H, take us out.
Cody, I need you to say, I see you don't chase dreams, you live them.
I see you don't chase dreams, you live them.
Well, one of the virtues of never sleeping, Mr. Bond. I have to live my dreams. Besides, plenty of time to sleep when you're dead.